What's up, Cream Heist? Welcome to another criminology educational video. And for today, we will be discussing the subject of law enforcement organization and administration. By the way, my name is Sean Francis Sandiego, also known as the Professor. So before we jump into our discussion, let us determine first what are the scope of our recorded lecture. So first is the development of Philippine Coast Guard and its function, explaining the functions of the Bureau of Immigration, describing the functions and organization of the Bureau of Customs, and the mandates of Department of Agriculture and Department of Environment and Natural Resources. So dito sa discussion na to, aalamin lang natin yung functions and organizational structure of the Philippine Coast Guard, Bureau of Immigration, Bureau of Customs, Department of Agriculture, and Department of Environment and Natural Resources. So we'll be tackling 5 departments under the Philippine government. So first is the history of the Philippine Coast Guard. So paano ba nabuo si Philippine Coast Guard? So this is the logo of the Philippine Coast Guard, and its national headquarters is located in 139 25th Street, South Harbor, Port Area, 1018, City of Manila. So for the history of the Philippine Coast Guard, so si Insular Government through the Philippine Commission enacted on October 17, 1901, the law creating the Bureau of Coast Guard and Transportation, which was placed under the Department of Commerce and Police. So the captain of the port was designated as the Bureau Director. So this is the official logo of the Philippine Coast Guard. So the Bureau of Coast Guard and Transportation was abolished on October 26, 1905, and its functions were taken over by the Department of Navigation. So the Bureau of Navigation. So the Bureau of Navigation was authorized to create a commissioned and enlisted service and to adopt its own manual of the courts martial pattern after the U.S. Navy. However, the Bureau was abolished on December 1913, and the organizations and functions were transferred to the Bureau of Customs and Bureau of Public Works until the Commonwealth period. The Philippine Coast Guard was then a major unit of the Philippine Navy by virtue of Republic Act 5173, as amended by the Presidential Decree No. 601. It is tasked to preserve the maritime sovereignty over the island. With the issuance of Executive Order Number 477, on April 15, 1998, the PCG obtained autonomy in its operation and became a civilian line function agency attached to the Department of Transportation and Commissions. So, from siya ay naging major department sa Navy, Philippine Navy, nagkaroon na siya ng autonomous status and na-attach na siya sa DOTC. On February 12, 2010, Republic Act 9993 or the PCG Law of 2009 was approved, repealing the old law, RA number 5173. It established the PCG as an armed and uniformed service attached to the DOTC. It sees the PCG as a maritime law enforcement agency able to adequately and effectively respond in the performance of its mandated functions. So si PCG, from being a civilian line function attached to the DOTC, naging armed and uniformed service. So siya na ang maritime law enforcement agency ng Pilipinas. On September 2, 2014, DOTC issued Department Order number 2014/010, restructuring the organization of the PCG to respond to its enhanced mandate, functions, and responsibilities. So anong mandato ng PCG? Yung Philippine Coast Guard daw is mandated and responsible to perform maritime search and rescue, maritime law enforcement, maritime safety, maritime environmental protection, and maritime security. So anything when it comes to maritime or sa tubig, it may either be search and rescue, and law enforcement, safety, environmental protection, and security. Basta sa maritime, it would be the mandated, or it is the mandate or responsibility of the Philippine Coast Guard. Anong function niya? First is maritime safety or MARSAF. Function is designed to help prevent or minimize unnecessary loss of lives and properties at the sea. Further, the PCG is also responsible in issuing permits and supervises all marine salvage operations. It is mandated to destroy or tow floating hazards to navigation, such as but not limited to illegal fish traps and vessels. So dito sa maritime safety, ine-ensure ni PCG yung safety ng lahat ng tao and lahat ng property in the sea. Maritime security is another important function of the PCG. So it is the performance that the PCG contributes to maintain good order at sea by conducting regular patrols and surveillance for the safety navigation of ships to safeguard ships from illegal acts and to promote freedom of navigation. So the PCG is likewise mandated to secure exploration and resource utilization activities within the country's maritime jurisdiction. Maritime Search and Rescue or tinatawag natin na MARSAR. The Philippine Coast Guard is in accordance with the Convention of Safety of Life at Sea. It is the National Maritime Search and Rescue Service of the country. The PCG SARS organization maintains a constantly manned watch centers that operate 24 hours a day, continuously monitoring distress, frequencies, and conducting coastal foot and seaborne patrol within their area of responsibility. Next is the PCG is likewise mandated to conduct maritime law enforcement or yung tinatawag natin na MARLEN and implement laws on fisheries, immigration, tariff and customs, forestry, firearms and explosives, human trafficking, dangerous drugs and controlled chemicals, and to implement the revised penal code and all other applicable laws within the country's maritime jurisdiction and battle transnational crimes. Next is Maritime or Marine Environmental Protection or MAREP. The Philippines is a signatory to the IMO Conventions on Marine Pollution of 1973 and 1978. The Philippine Coast Guard under RA 9993 is the sole agency responsible for the Philippine implementation of the conventions with regards to oil pollution, prevention, mitigation, and control through the conduct of maritime pollution, monitoring and control, enhancement of PCG capability and oil spill response operations, and enforcement of all environmental laws and regulation. So, kumbaga, in its simplest context, si PCG din ang may mandato or may responsibilidad na pangalagaan ang maritime or ang mga bodies of water na meron tayo. Next, let's go to the Bureau of Immigration. So, the Republic of the Philippines Bureau of Immigration. So, anong mandato ni Bureau of Immigration, which is under the Department of Justice? The BI is principally responsible for the administration and enforcement of immigration, citizenship, and alien admission and registration laws in accordance with the provisions of the Philippine Immigration Act of 1940. It also plays a role in the enforcement of RA 9108, also known as the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Act of 2003. So, ang core values ng BI is patriotism, integrity, and professionalism. The Philippine immigration laws and other related laws are the CA 613 or the Philippine Immigration Law of 1940, RA 562 or the Alien Registration Act of 1950, RA 9225, Citizenship Retention and Reacquisition of Act 2003, MCL-08-006- Rules Governing Philippine Citizenships under Republic Act 9225 and Administrative Order Number 91, Series of 2004. RA 9139, RA 9208, and RRI RA 9208. Ito yung rules and regulations implementing the RA 9208. So ito yung mga immigration laws and other related laws that is tasked to be enforced or implemented by the Bureau of Immigration. Nandiyan din si RA 8042, RA 10022, PD 1034, RA 8756, AO 091, and LML M-03A12-001 or ito yung guideline on the departure of formalities for international bound passengers in all airports and seaports in the country. RA 7919, RA 10364, RA 8247, PC 1987, and MO036 or the Interagency Council Against Trafficking. So ano yung specific function ni Bureau of Immigration? So una is accreditation of law firms, liaison officers, travel agencies, and other individuals transacting with the Bureau of Immigration. Accreditation of schools and learning institutions that can officially accept and enroll foreign students at mga exchange students. Investigation, arrest, and detention of foreigners in violation of immigration regulation and other Philippine laws. Cancellation of immigration documents upon violation of immigration laws and procedures. Implementation of whole departure orders, blacklist, watch list, immigration lookout bulletin orders, and alert list orders. Investigation, hearing, decision, and execution of orders pertaining to the exclusion, deportation, and the repatriation of foreign nationals. Also, siya rin ang merong kapangyarihan sa administrative determination of citizenship and related status, extension of state temporary visitors, and implementation of changes of status as provided by law, issuance of special permits in relation to the enforcement of immigration laws such as SWP, PPW, SSP, re-entry permits, and clearances, issuance of immigration documents, identification certification, or non-immigrant, immigrant, and special non-immigrant visas, monitoring of the entry and exit of Filipino citizens in compliance with the Philippine laws and other legal procedures, regulation of the entry, stay, and exit of foreign nationals in the country. So this is the organizational structure of the Bureau of Immigration. So may Office of the Commissioner, then the Office of the Associate Commissioner for Administration and for Operation. So meron din siyang Board of Special Inquiry and Office of the Executive Director. And then under the Board of Commissioners are the Administrative Division, Finance and Management Division, Immigration Regulation Division, Verification and Compliance Division, etc., etc. So the Bureau of Immigration's organizational structure. So the department overview, it was formed in January 22, 1940. So the headquarters is on Magallanes, Intramuros, Manila, Metro Manila. So the department executive is the Police Major General Jaime Morente. Jurisdiction is of course the Philippines, and the parent agency or it is under the Department of Justice. Now let's go to the Bureau of Customs. So in the Bureau of Customs, which is under the Department of Finance, ang trabaho niyan is to assess and collect custom revenues from imported goods, simplify and harmonize custom procedures, exercise border control to prevent entry of smuggled goods, prevent and suppress smuggling and other customs fraud, facilitate and secure international trade, supervise and control the entrance and clearance of vessels and aircraft engaged in foreign commerce, supervise and control the handling of foreign mails arriving in the Philippines, supervise and control import and export cargoes, conduct a compensation study to develop a competitive compensation and remuneration system in the Bureau, exercise exclusive original jurisdiction over forfeiture cases, and enforce the CMTA and all other laws, rules, and regulations related to customs administration. Therefore, si Bureau of Customs is also a law enforcement agency. And si Bureau of Customs, in its simplest context, siya lang yung namamahala sa mga produkto na ini-import and ini-export from the country, going out and going in the country. So the offices of the Bureau of Customs is headed by the Customs Commissioner and assisted by 6 Deputy Commissioner, 1 Assistant Commissioner, and 17 District Collectors who supervise the country's principal ports of entry. So the International Administration Group under the Deputy Commissioner, this group assists the commissioners in the formulation of policies and in setting up of objectives relative to financial, administrative, personnel, planning, and management improvement services of the Bureau of Customs, represents the Commissioner in meetings and conferences, signs memorandums, circulars, and review official communications and documents relevant to internal administration. Next is Revenue Collection Monitoring Group. Under this, the Deputy Commissioner, itong grupo na to is nagme-maintain na account revenues collected, administers the legal requirements of the BOC and provides the information and analysis of collection, statistics and audits, liquidated entries, and bonds. So dito sa Revenue Collection Monitoring Group, siya yung nag-provide ng accounting ng lahat ng revenues ng Bureau of Customs. Assessment and Operation Coordination Group. So under the Deputy Commissioner, this group gathers and publishes values of commodities imported into the country and monitors implementation of rules and regulation, governing assessment and processing of goods for exports, warehousing and support operations and auction and disposal activities. Intelligence Group. Under the Deputy Commissioner, this group gathers intelligence information related to the customs and economic activities, conduct internal inquiry and investigation, and develop effective countermeasures to combat corruption, smuggling, and other forms of custom fraud. Enforcement Group. Under the Deputy Commissioner, this group exercises police authority to secure the country's ports and BOC installations and to protect the cargoes and properties inside the custom zone. Management Information System and Technology. Ito yung nag-i-implement siya ng BOC's computer program necessitated the creation of the said group. So it is greatly expanded. The IT group was already reflected in 1992 ISP as a support to the aim of the Bureau to assume direct management and control of IT facilities and services after the conclusion of the Transitional Facilities Management arrangements under the PTCP contract. So itong MISTG is headed by the Deputy Commissioner who is responsible for overall supervision of different operating units. Post-clearance audit. Customs Memorandum reactivates the post-clearance audit, formerly known as the Post-Entry Audit Group. So this group was created in 2003 and tasked to perform post-clearance audit work of the Bureau of Customs. In 2013, the functions of the PIG was transferred to the Department of Finance until President Rodrigo Duterte signed EO 46 on October 2017, returning the function to the BOC. So the PCAG is headed by an Assistant Commissioner who has direct supervision and control over the management of the operating units of the PCAG, which includes the Trade Information and Risk Analysis Office and Compliance Assessment Office. Collection districts. So each district is headed by a district collector of custom and collects duties, taxes, and other charges accruing to the government. Exercises police powers, supervises the entrance and clearance of vessels engaged in the commerce, supervises and controls handling of foreign mail, and supervises all import and export cargoes and freight stations. So this is the organizational structure of the Bureau of Customs. Now let's go to the Department of Agriculture and DENR. So ang mandate function ng Department of Agriculture is responsible sila for the promotion of agricultural development by providing policy framework, public investment, and support services needed for domestic and export-oriented business enterprises. So the bureaus, the Department of Agricultural Training Institute is mandated to lead the formulation of the National Agricultural Fisheries Extension Agenda and Budget, prepare an integrated plan for publicly funded training programs in agricultural and fisheries, formulate and issue guidelines in planning, implementing, monitoring, and evaluating AFE programs, and assist in coordination with the state universities and colleges, the local government units, extension system by improving their effectiveness and efficiency through capability building and complementary extension activities such as the technical assistance, training of LGU personnel, improvement of physical facilities, extension of research and information support service. So the Bureau of Agricultural Research or yung BAR is an attached agency. It is tasked to coordinate agricultural research to ensure application of its full potential in improving the sector. Next is the Bureau of Agricultural and Fisheries Engineering or BAFE. It is mandated to monitor the implementation of Natural, Agricultural, and Fisheries Modernization Plan of the DA. Moreover, it shall plan, implement, and evaluate the development of agricultural mechanization and infrastructure in the agricultural sector. The Bureau of Agricultural and Fisheries Standards is mandated to develop standards and regulations that are globally harmonized and consistent with international commitments. Bureau of Animal Industry to make the animal industry productive and profitable under sustainable environment through sound policies, program, research and services, and animal production, post-harvest, health, and welfare. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, is the government agency responsible for the development, improvement, management, and conservation of the country's fisheries and aquatic resources. It was reconstituted as a line bureau by the virtue of Republic Act 8550. The bureau is under the Department of Agriculture. The Bureau of Plant Industry to ensure the availability of quality seeds, safety of plant food, and development of crop farming technologies, and safeguard the plant industry. And the Bureau of Soils and Water Management. It is an attached agency to the Department of Agriculture, and its primary mandate is to ensure the effective soil, land, and water resources utilization by undertaking projects and research on soil conservation, irrigation, rain making, and other related activities. So the programs are Rice Program, Corn and Cassava Program, High Value Crops Development Program, Livestock Program, Organic Agricultural Program. So ito yung DENR or Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Itong department na to is the primary agency for the responsible for the conservation, management, development, and proper use of the country's environment and natural resources, specifically forests, grazing lands, mineral resources, including those in reservation and watershed areas and lands of the public domain, as well as the licensing and regulation of all natural resources as may be provided by law in order to ensure equitable sharing of the benefits derived therefrom for the welfare of the present and future generations of Filipinos. Kaya di ba yung mga mining is under yan ng DENR. To accomplish this mandate, the department shall be guided by the following objectives. So, assure that the availability and sustainability of the country's natural resources through judicious use or legal use and systematic restoration or replacement whenever possible. So, ibig sabihin, kung ikaw kailangan mo magputol ng puno, you have to replant. Increase the productivity of natural resources in order to meet the demands for forest, mineral, and land resources if a growing population. Enhance the contribution of natural resources for achieving national economic and social development. Promote equitable access to natural resources by the different sectors of the population. Conserve specific terrestrial and marine areas representative of the Philippine natural and cultural heritage for present and future generation. So this is the Department of Environment and Natural Resources na organizational structure and its attached agencies. So nandiyan si Agriculture Credit and Policy Council, Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority, Philippine Fiber Industry Development Authority, Philippine Council for Agricultural and Fisheries, Philippine Carabao Center, and the Philippine Center for Post-Harvest Development and Mechanizations. This is the organizational chart of the DENR. So, ito naman yung mga attached agencies niya. Laguna Lake Development Authority, National Mapping and Resource Information Authority, National Water Resources Board, Natural Resources Development Corporation, Palawan Council for Sustainable Development, Philippine Mining Development Corporation, and Philippine Reclamation Authority. Thank you very much, and I do hope that you learned a lot from this video discussion by simply discussing the functions and mandates of the 4 departments and bureaus. So if you love this video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the professor, and hit the notification bell for you to be updated for my next video upload. So thank you very much, and see you on my next vlog.